All right. And where is the change calendar? Files. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought we had the different records apparently. But here's the, at the very bottom, here's the domain controller. Right, remember that from the DNS? There's the root, and then there are the top level domain controllers, TLDs. Right? NS, Network Services Records. MX Records. These are the records, this is these are the zone records from GoDaddy. And in moving, I take these, I modify these to point at the new site. And how do I do that? I change things like the mail servers and the A record. In the mail servers, all of this stuff would have changed because now I'm hosting my own mail server. Okay. So, who is the name, generic name given to all of these interconnected databases that are reachable from a number of different directions. And the name, this database just keeps all of these records I showed you, the MX records and the zone records that represent all of the different hosts that are attached to the internet, every single one of them. Whose database is actually, it's massive. There are, I don't even remember the latest totals for the number of directly connected hosts. Okay? So who is the database and some of the front ends that give you visibility into it that allow you to look up different servers. And you can find out in the who is records where the servers reside. Okay? Anybody use or bother to use this NS lookup? Let's NS lookup is largely probably should have done that. Okay, right to once. NS lookup is, helps if I type it correctly. NS lookup is the command line, and it's been implemented in a couple of different GUI implementations in Linux that goes out and queries the whois database and then returns the information about the hosts. So when it says send DNS queries to 3 DNS servers, your local one and the 2 DNS servers you found up here, I don't know why this is taking so long. Charge her money. $5, please.
$5.
All right, here's just to see if the domains are available. You see that there are a number of variations of it that are available. It's already registered. And here is the, down here, oops, the start of the MX record. See, the registrar is still GoDaddy. That just means that originally the domain was purchased through GoDaddy. The IANA registrar, this WHOIS server that initially responds is still the GoDaddy one, okay? This isn't returning all the information I would like. If you use ENS lookup, it gives you much more of the record, including the geographical location and the name of the registered administrator, phone numbers, all of that information. So if you used NS lookup and look for trendacy.com, I'm looking at D now, right there, you would see that what would come back would be all of the addresses that are registered to trendacy.com. Right now I think we have 4 public ones that are registered. Remember that 198.89.98.212? That's one that's right in the middle. I think we've got 210 through 214, for example. You can use the Aaron WHOIS database. I think Aaron is also reachable via GUI, or at least a portal on the web. F. Describe how an attacker can use WHOIS database in the NS lookup tool to perform reconnaissance on an institution. That's pretty simple, right? You just want to do, what kind of a, take a step back, we've talked about this briefly, what kind of an attack might this be? Would it be the most common attack that would be launched by using the WHOIS database to do a little bit of research? What's the WHOIS database going to give you? IP addresses, right? What's the most common attack against an IP address? Denial of service. Just flood that IP address and all the ports that you can find associated with it with traffic. You can either do it from a single machine or do it from multiple machines. If you do a denial of service attack from multiple machines, what kind of attack is it called? Distributed denial of service, right? Come on, we've talked about this stuff. Problem like, ooh, what happened? Screwed this up. Now it's formatting it. Use dig to explore the hierarchy of DNS servers. Did anybody get this far? Try out some of this stuff on your own. Okay? It's worth looking at. There is a lot of information you can get. Another one that we talk about in the text, and we're going to talk about today if we get to it, if I don't, if I shut up here and we get started, is ports. One of the, well, let me back up. How many people have heard the phrase war driving? Anybody? There are in, no, I can't remember. Yeah. Especially in Linux, there are a number of tools that are available, one of which is called NetApe, that allow you to anonymously, undercover, track open IP addresses and open ports in your vicinity, especially using wireless. Another one that we talk about in the text and we'll talk about in the presentation is called Nmap. And it tells you what ports are open and what ports are available. In addition to denial of service attacks, which are aimed at IP addresses, we can use other attacks like buffer overflow and some of the other ones. SQL buffer overflow is a very common one. And those are directed against ports. War driving is the process of one or more people getting in a car and just driving around with a laptop in the car running NetApe or something similar and creating a map of all of the different servers, better term, different services and the different ports that they're on that are open and available from all of the geographical locations. And they go around and they map them. Does anybody remember the trouble Google got into 4 or 5 years ago? You know, Google does the street view for Google Maps. And you have the car that goes around and just records the pictures of all the, well, at the same time, Google was going around and they were collecting the IP addresses and the SSIDs, or the network names, of all of the available Wi-Fi networks everywhere that they went when they were doing Street View. And Google created a map of every open, unprotected Wi-Fi network in the world. They are currently, the European Union is just, I don't know how Google keeps avoiding it, but the European Union is really, really trying to break Google up. And they make it their way. But one of the things that they did was war driving, in effect. The Google cars with the, you know, the rotating drum on the top. Anybody ever seen those? They were also going around and they were collecting the SSIDs, which is the, I just drew a blank. System service? No, I don't remember what SSID stands for, but it's a network ID of all the wireless networks. Every wireless network has an SSID. It may not be configured, but by default it's going to be the number of the network. And they were collecting those everywhere they went. And so somewhere in Google HQ, well, by now it's probably distributed all over the place, there's a map of every single IP network or every single Wi-Fi network in the world. War driving. Going around collecting available or open networks and ports associated with the services being broadcast from those networks, and together with the Whois database, the ARIN database, or the IANA database, it's a hacker's dream. Because now they can attack anything at will. And do it remotely, and you may never even know. I could show you the logs from Trinity. We're getting attacked all the time. Tens or hundreds of thousands of times a day. All right, finally, everybody, well, how many people don't know what an Apache web server is? Last question. Everybody knows what an Apache web server is. Okay, how much does it cost?
Zero.
Exactly, it's free, zero. Unless you're dumb enough to go out and pay for Hadoop, in which case you're going to spend money for a multi-instance version of Apache. But it's free. What functionality does it currently have? It's a web server. It has embedded within a Tomcat Okay? And you may want to look at Wikipedia, look at Wiki, whatever. All right, enough. We've taken the entire hour to go over the homework, but was the homework valuable? Did it help? Did it solve any problems? Did it open your eyes, help explain stuff? Keep it around. Go through those exercises with the Whois database and with the exercise using NetStat and Nmap, and look at those. Because if you do anything with a network over time, you will invariably, you will be referring to them. If you're going to be responsible for a server or for a network, for example, an Olivet University or something, you will be under constant attack. And the only way to address that, or try to address that, is look for all of the IP addresses that are attacking you, and then try and contact all the administrators that you can get out of the Whois database to say you have a rogue machine on your network. It's attacking my servers. This is a polite notification. The next thing after this is a lawsuit. Most of the time they ignore you, but you feel better. Would it be helpful? You want to see a log of all the attacks that are going on? Take a break. I'm going to call up we'll take a quick look at the log on Trendicy, and you can see how many attacks there are. But 11:01, be back at 11:06. No excuses. We're going to lock the door.